Money Talk Viewpoint. We are an online podcast and financial education platform for fluent investors.
Yeah, so I help small to mid-sized business owners get found online.
Bill, let me ask you another question here. It's very important. Now, the person's out there now and they're looking how to reach out to you. How do they find you?
Yeah, so the easiest way is just to go to twomoreprofits.com. It's the number two, MORE.
Okay.
PRO.
Type it in the chat box while you're telling
Sure.
me. That way I'm going to add that to the end of our video so they can see this.
Sure.
But I think that's a very, very important factor that people are looking for ways to make their presence better known.
Yes.
And they want to find a way not to be eaten up by hackers in the process of getting there. And
that's right.
They didn't know who to reach out to get themselves up and start. You know, there's so many different things that when you start a new business, there's so much stuff you need to know. And many practitioners,
absolutely.
So one person starting out, well, today you're starting out of your house. Now that
that's right.
Nobody goes to the office anymore. So we're back at work.
Yes, that's right.
And what has helped a lot with that is that having technology to get yourself, okay, two more profits. I'm going to print that. I'm going to make sure I write that down. And that'll go on.
Sure. Absolutely.
So two more. Now, let me ask another question here. Who do you serve? Is it a particular regional area that you serve or section area you serve? Or tell me more about that.
Sure. So I've been focused on recently on doctors and lawyers and lawyers, and anybody that's a local business that is when they get a new client in, it's worth a few $1,000s at least to them per year. Those are the types of businesses I go after because I can create the biggest impact for them, help them get more leads, help them get found online. And I can also help them with, how to convert those leads into clients or patients.
I think that's so important because that's what everybody looks for. I don't care what business you're in. Our business is only profitable when we have a customer base, and that's going to come from the lead generation. So that's important to know. Anything else you want to share with us that you think the audience would want to know about you or about your business?
Yeah, I think the most important thing is that, we can sit down and understand not just what the person does, but why they got into the business. So what's important right now is branding. So a lot of companies out there, they just sound like everybody else. I'm a doctor and I'm a surgeon and I'm a brain surgeon and here's what I do. All the brain surgeons say the same thing, and usually their websites even look a lot alike. So what you need to do is say, why did you figure out how can you compel somebody to want to work with you? Well, one of the reasons might be the why. I got into this business because, I had an uncle or a grandparent or somebody that had suffered from this. And I said, I'm going to go to school. I'm going to learn. I'm going to be the best brain surgeon that I can be. And here's what I've done since then. I've had this many successful operations and have this kind of education. I feel I can do the best job for you. So, those are the types of things that we want to bring out in customers today so that it's reflected in not only their website, but their videos, their social media, everywhere they are online. So that's what the key thing is, to find out why are they in the business, what makes them unique, and why should somebody do business with them?
Let me ask about that too, because sometimes people don't know why they're there.
That's right.
And I'm here to tell you why I say that. When I was working for one of the investment firms, investment banks, I worked several of them over my career. But the last one I worked in, I had an opportunity that didn't look great until I got into it because it put me with a lot of young people. And I thought, my God, when they do that, they're trying to get rid of you. But it wound up being, I had the highest producing team in the country. And they kept wondering, what was it? One of the things I did with them, I asked them why they came to work at the bank. Now, I worked for the investment house, but the investment people worked within the bank itself. But that's what a lot of firms do now. And I found out a lot of them did it. They only there because they had to pay their college loans off.
Yeah, that's not good. You want to, you you got to find that, why are you doing this? What does it make you feel like? What makes you different from everybody else, right? I mean, those are key things. You may not have a compelling why, you might be
Okay.
in the business and you might find that, okay, well, I'm in it because, I enjoy helping people, with their financial planning and helping them make the most money they can and take the least risk possible at making that money. um, so that might be it, but it's, why should they do business with you, right? So,
Yeah.
there's got to be reasons why. So if you can find those whys,
Mhm.
that's okay. It's not a compelling why for why you started in the business, but it's a compelling reason why they should do business with you.
One of the things I did with my young groups of people is that I helped them to do one thing. I taught them how to network through the company and how to
Uh-huh.
to find where they really wanted to be. And I explained to them that there's no guarantee you're going to jump out of there next week and be where you want to be, but it'll put you in the
Right.
direction of where you want to go. So I didn't have an exact why, but someone in my heart I thought about when I was younger. I actually studied to be a chemist.
Ah,
I was
yes.
a research scientist. That's what it was. And I wound up on Wall Street, and it was sort of happenstance. Not by
Yeah.
I didn't want what happened. I worked in a laboratory, and scientists do not have interpersonal skills. And I
Hmm.
recognized that I was like any scientist. I just didn't have strong interpersonal skills. And what happened, I left the country to go find myself. Back in the day, you could do that.
Yes.
my, my father was an ex-military, he's ex-Navy. So when I came back, he says, I'm going to send you to New York. I want you to meet a friend of mine to help you get a job. So I was terrified of going to be thrown in the military, but it wasn't. I wound up with a guy he had saved this guy's life in World War II. And the man
Wow.
worked at a Wall Street firm. This is when to get to a vice president, you had to come through a lot because they usually started at the bottom back then. I'm talking years back, and you worked your way up. You didn't come in as a VP
Sure.
because you got an MBA. You worked your way up. So what
Yes.
happened was I was like the only minority in that position that I had. There weren't a lot of us at those days. But what he
Hmm.
did was he brought me into the firm. And I wound up working in the back office and bond accruals and stock analysis. I did a lot of stuff that introduced me to that industry. And he brought me in because he said, if you studied science, you have the ability to recognize numbers and formulas and strategies. That's how I got into a firm. That started my career. But
That's awesome.
that was the beginning of my whole life, and it was because of my father, and because he had my father had a lot of integrity. He was a Navy CB. He was an
Hmm.
engineer, chief engineer for the largest hospital in Chicago. But again, he started at the bottom. He started
Yep.
in a
Sure.
low-level job, a maintenance man to work his way up because he had to go to school. So things have changed. Today, we just go get a degree and done more degrees and get put into a position. But that bottom starting still has a benefit. People do learn.
Oh, definitely, definitely. Because you learn the business and you learn how you can help people, right? With the reading of charts and companies, earnings and their research that you do on the company and all that. It's not just, going to a website and doing analytics. You have to find out who's behind those analytics and what they're doing and what their purpose is and have they been successful in the past and so on and so forth. So there's a lot to learn, right? And you learn that back office and you learn that from being out there in the market.
Well, Joe, it's been a pleasure talking to you. I have really enjoyed this. Anything else you want to bring up before we wrap up for the day?
No, I just, if people are interested and want to see what I can do for them, I can do this very quickly. Actually, I can get them found online. So if they want to try it out, I can get them a video made and we can get them found in a big city that they're interested, or excuse me, a city that they're interested in, maybe their local area, a big city in their local area they want to get found for their particular line of business.
All right. Well, I hope that everybody who's listening today reaches out to Joe. And I'll put this on the end of the video, twomoreprofits.com.
Yes. Or they can call me if they like, or text me at 630.
I'm going to actually put that in the chat box there.
Sure. So that's, I'll say it too, as well as I type it in.
Okay.
So it'd be 630-730-8530.
Excellent. 630. Write this down.
And of course, I typed it wrong.
630-730-8530.
30.
Okay. Lots of threes and lots of zeros in there.
Yes.
Excellent. Well, Joe, I'm going to let you go.